Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of AMC Entertainment, ticker symbol AMC. And so here I am recording this on Sunday, September 8th, after AMC closed on Friday, September 6th, at a price of $4.98, being up over 5% on the day. While it is a little disappointing it closed below $5 a share, we did see a pretty nice rally on Friday and really, beginning on Wednesday of last week after we saw a pretty big down day, almost 4% on Tuesday after the long holiday weekend. And so in this video, I didn't want to spend too much time on the chart. I actually wanted to get into, some thoughts on market sentiment around AMC because I think things are actually looking really, really good for the stock. Last week when I put out the video, I was feeling pretty discouraged. I thought there was a lot of negative sentiment, and I felt like, we were just exhausted, could not be buying the dip anymore, and it seemed to line up with breaking these trend lines. But in that video, I did include the note that I think there is still hope. While we haven't reclaimed these trend lines yet, which I think is going to be very, very important, I think there are a number of things, whether it's in the chart, market sentiment, and really what's just been going on with AMC. I think things are looking really, really good. So I wanted to get into a little bit of that, kind of a different type of video this week, but I think it's really important. And really, I just wanted to talk about market psychology because I think, this really stands out. And usually I do put out these videos on Friday, but I've been falling behind. I've been, struggling to keep up on these videos on top of work and all of that. And, so I just needed time to think about this. And this morning, when I was preparing for this video, I was looking at this and I was thinking that we might be in this depression phase, which is, my retirement money is lost. How can we pay for all this new stuff? I am an idiot. And I was thinking that because, we saw this low here, which would correspond with AMC's all-time low of, I believe, $2.38. From that, we have gone up. So it made sense to me that we were in the depression phase. But then I started to think, this is a sucker's rally coming up, disbelief. And really, if we look back at the chart, I think we had that suckers rally over here on May 14th when we hit a high during market hours of $11.88. That was after that low of 238. So that does make sense here. This being that low, us being depressed following that, not having any confidence or conviction that this would play out, or at least losing that conviction. And then we get this massive rally, but then following that, price fades back down and, we start to lose hope again. We start to lose faith and conviction in our play. I draw all of these Fibonacci retracements to the 786s, justifying support and resistance being between $4 and $6 a share, and we're still right around there. And so, I do think that all hope is not lost, because if we look after this suckers rally that we had, what happens after that? We get disbelief. And so that is where I think we are at in this chart of the psychology of a market cycle. That is that this rally will fail like the others. So that is where I think we're at, and I think that we are on the cusp of a possible recovery. Hope. That is where I think we are about to be. And, I think that this really just lines up with a lot of things going on with, the meme stocks, whether or not you want to think of AMC as one of them, and whether or not you want to think of Roaring Kitty having an influence on them. Personally, I don't think he really has an influence on them. I think that he really just understands the market, understands these stocks, and understands how to take advantage of short sellers who are overly short. And when they start to cover, I think that he is on top of it. And so I did just put out a video on GameStop and how Roaring Kitty is done playing with his toy, Chewy, which is associated with Woody. And, I posted in that video, I mentioned that, Andy is done with his toy, Woody, and is moving on to Buzz Lightyear, his new toy, which I associated with GameStop. But really thinking about that, GameStop's his old toy. GameStop is like all of Andy's toys. GameStop is Toy Story. And Woody is this toy, one toy, that Andy has been playing with and that he's lost interest in. And so, what's his new toy? Is Buzz Lightyear going to be associated with GameStop, or might Buzz Lightyear be associated with a new stock like AMC? Roaring Kitty did say in his stream,
Oh, movies. All right, let's go. Yeah, movies. Yeah, now we're talking.
so, I think that there might be something there. I also think that could be a tinfoil hat theory. I don't think that we should get too worked up about that, but I don't think that this is something to be bearish about Chewy. I don't think this is something to be bearish about GameStop or AMC. I think that Roaring Kitty recognizes that something is going on with the chart, with GameStop, with AMC as well, whether or not he's in that play or not, Chewy, whatever. And, I think that he recognizes that we had this disbelief suckers rally, and now we're getting ready for the real thing, hope. And I think that might be associated with the September 20th expiration of not only the weekly options contracts, also the monthlies, as well as the third quarter contracts for AMC, GameStop, all of these options. And so with that, we might be seeing some big rallies. We saw that at the end of last quarter, or right around there, May into June, we saw, these big rallies with GameStop, with AMC. And so I think that we are, on the cusp of that. But, one thing I do want to caution about, I did go over in last week's video, was this gap to the downside. I actually incorrectly drew that, and so I just want to clarify where that gap is. I believe I drew it from the high, which was at $3.18.5. The close is where I should have drawn that at. I was just doing it live as recording the video. And so that is actually at $2.91. I don't think price is going down there. I think that the last time that we had a price of $4.20, I think that's the last time we go down there. I think I did mention that in that video. And yeah, I think that 420 is behind us as well as $3. I think that we are just in, this phase of disbelief that this rally will fail like the others. But in this chart, it did not. I think that we have a lot of hope moving forward. I think that we will be getting more optimistic. We will believe more in the stock. Eventually, we will be thrilled to be holding it again. And eventually, we will get to euphoria. And I think at that point, it will be good to manage our risk. Do that personally, however you want to do it. But the fact that retail is still here years after we got screwed over, I think that says a lot. So, I think that what we really need to see, though, to see this momentum continue, is get a close above 525. I have this purple line marked here at 522. We hit a high on August 26th of 525. We need to see ourselves closing above that, really maybe right around 530, because we need to reclaim this orange uptrend. The white uptrend is not as important because it doesn't go back as far in time. The orange uptrend, though, is very important. As you can see, the pivot points are the all-time low of 238, as well as this low when we gapped up to start to rally here for the suckers rally. That low was just below 291. That low is at 290, right around that gap. And so I think that trend line is super, super important. And I do think that we will be closing above 525 this week. And part of the reason for that is, I've started to look at the MACD. And here we see that it has been red. Did look like, it was going to be rallying up into the green, but it turned red again. And now it looks like we might be getting another crossover, which would suggest a rally, which would coincide with, the bullish activity that we've seen with the GameStop options. If that does relate to AMC, which I think it does, I think it's a sympathy play. I think that we will be going a lot higher. And one thing that I do want to note is that from the unusual whale options alerts that I did get one for AMC on Friday. That is a strike of $5.50, a call expiring on September 27th, meaning that there are 21 days to expiration. Currently, it's 13% out of the money. Premium on it, this has me a little bit concerned. It's only $105,000. And if I do look over at the contract, it doesn't stand out to me as an options call, a contract that is driving the price, but more so chasing it. But I do think that it is a good sign that Unusual Whales is alerting on AMC options activity, as usually there are not AMC alerts. The fact that there was one on Friday, even though it was a chase, not a driving contract, it doesn't matter. I think that just the fact that there is options activity in AMC that is bullish going into the end of September, I think that looks really, really good. And, I think that we are going to be seeing potentially, $10 a share, maybe by the end of September, associated with the options expiration, the bullish sentiment that we have been seeing. And, I have to say that I am fairly bearish overall in a lot of things. Check out my video on NVIDIA, the VIX. I think that the market is rolling over generally. I think a lot of the larger caps are up here in this complacency phase. Things are going to start coming down, but I don't think that's the same for the memes. I think that we are approaching hope, and I think that there is a lot of excitement for the month of September. But those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thanks a lot for watching, and thank you so much for having the hope with me. I'm really excited about the coming weeks. Take care, you guys.